Padmasambhava, also known as Guru Rinpoche, is widely venerated by Buddhists in Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, the Himalayan states of India, and in countries around the world. He is credited with bringing the Vajrayana teachings to Tibet. Specifically, the contemporary Nyingma school considers Padmasambhava to be the founder of their lineage. Leading a life filled with magic that often appears more mythical than historical due to the fantastical nature of his exploits, the association of miraculous Terma traditions with him suggests that many of the supernatural feats attributed to him are most likely true. The Terma tradition involves tantric masters discovering writings and objects, either physical or non-physical, that were originally hidden by Padmasambhava himself or his closest disciples. According to tradition, just before his departure, Padmasambhava realized that there would be future obstacles for Buddhism and Buddhist practitioners in Tibet. Therefore, he hid teachings in various places in and around Tibet, knowing that although these teachings were not entirely relevant to his own time, they would address the problems or needs of dedicated Buddhist practitioners in the future. These teachings would be discovered at the appropriate time by individuals who are purportedly reincarnations of Padmasambhava's 25 closest disciples. To highlight the miraculous nature of these Terma treasures, one of these stories relating to the discovery of a Terma treasure is as follows. On November 17, 1998, while conducting a ritual circumambulation around a hill in Khams with his wife and a small group of devotees, a treasure revealer experienced a vision. In this vision, a group of dakinis, energetic beings in female forms, appeared and guided him to a large boulder, instructing him to be prepared to catch a treasure object that would emerge from an opening in the rock. Suddenly, a cavity opened in the rock, releasing a casket into his hands. Simultaneously, divine nectar, said to have medicinal properties, flowed from the same opening, which he promptly collected in his garment. A few days later, the treasure revealer took the casket and touched it to the rock, causing it to crack open slowly. Inside the casket, they saw a brilliant, small luminous sphere. A ray of light from the sphere hit the treasure revealer's head. According to him, he suddenly received a spiritual text or mind treasure in the form of a short string of syllables, which he would later translate into text and which developed into complete teachings. As this example illustrates, there are both physical treasures and mind treasures. Physical treasures are often religious objects with specific symbolic meanings within Tibetan Buddhist culture, such as a vajra or a phurba, a small symbolic knife, but can also be magical powders or small treasure chests. Mind treasures, on the other hand, are akin to channeled teachings revealed to a certain person when specific conditions are met. Even the most authoritative biography of Padmasambhava's life story was a Terma treasure known as Sanglingma, Copper Temple, named after Sami Monastery where the biography was hidden. It was written by Padmasambhava's most famous Tibetan disciple, the Dakini Yeshe Tsogil, 757–817 CE, and discovered by Nyang Rao Nyama Ozer, 1124–1192 CE. The Sanglingma life story will form the major basis for this video of his life story. During the 8th century, in the land of Adiyana, current-day Swat Valley, Pakistan, there was once a childless king named Indrabodhi. While returning on a ship from a mission to recover a wish-fulfilling jewel, the king and his retinue passed an island on which grew a magnificent lotus flower. Atop this lotus flower sat a boy of about 8 years of age. Said to be an emanation of Buddha Amitabha, his body was adorned with major and minor marks, physical signs of a great enlightened being. When questioned about his origins, he gave a profound answer, stating that his father is wisdom, his mother is void, his country is the Dharma, and his purpose is to destroy the 3 poisons of attachment, anger, and ignorance. Suitably impressed by the boy, the king decided to adopt him as his son and henceforth, a prince. The king named him Padmavajra, one of the 8 manifestations of Padmasambhava. Padma means lotus, and Vajra means diamond, also referring to a ritual object that the boy was holding in his hand when the king first saw him. Since Padmasambhava appeared on earth as a human being, he assumed 8 principal forms at different points in his life, representing various aspects of his being as needed. These forms became known as his 8 manifestations. Initially, Everything went well, but the maturing prince soon realized that his way of life in the palace was not serving his purpose of helping other beings to any great measure. Therefore, he arranged the circumstances of his own expulsion from the kingdom, initially by performing religious dances naked on the palace roof, and when that failed to get him expelled, by letting a trident staff fall from his hand, which landed on the head of the powerful minister's son, causing his death. Padmasambhava was thus banished to a charnel ground called Cool Grove, where he performed yogic practices and received empowerments and initiations from dakinis. Initially, he survived on the food offerings left for the dead and wore the cloth used to wrap the corpses as clothing. Later, during a period of famine and disease in the area, he had to resort to using flayed skin from the corpses as clothing and eat the bodies for food. During this time, he heard of an evil king, Shakraraja, in a nearby kingdom who was leading his people astray, causing them to end up in lower rebirths. Padma decided that the only way to convert these people was through wrathful means. Given the name of Rakshasa demon, his wrathful form as one of his 8 manifestations, for his actions during this episode, he entered the kingdom wearing a human skin shirt and tiger skin skirt, killing all the men he met along the way and uniting with all the females before ending with a ritual of union and liberation. This story is an indication of some of Padmasambhava's extreme and unconventional approaches to converting people to Buddhism. After spending various periods of time at other charnel grounds, Padmasambhava visited Bodh Gaya in India, where Buddha Shakyamuni had attained enlightenment. Though Padmasambhava was already fully enlightened without the need for guidance from any spiritual teacher, he decided he needed to show people by his own example that guidance from a mentor is essential, even if he himself had no need for such instructions. Therefore, he made his way to many of the greatest teachers living in India at the time. In different versions, Padmasambhava is said to have received ordination either from Master Prabhahasti, who gave him the name Sakya Senj, one of his 8 manifestations as the monk, or from Ananda, Buddha Sakyamuni's personal attendant during his lifetime. Buddha Sakyamuni had foretold the birth of the next Buddha 12 years after his passing, coinciding with the birth of Padmasambhava. In Himachal Pradesh, India, Padmasambhava clandestinely imparted tantric teachings to Princess Mandarava, the daughter of the local king. Upon discovering this, the king attempted to burn both Padmasambhava and his daughter. However, it is said that when the smoke cleared, they were found alive and in deep meditation, seated upon a lotus emerging from a lake. Astonished by this miracle, the king offered Padmasambhava both his kingdom and Mandarava's hand in marriage. Mandarava thus became one of Padmasambhava's 5 main consorts, also known as the wisdom dakinis, believed to be manifestations of Vajravarahi, the source of all dakinis. Among these consorts, the most renowned is the dakini Yesha Tsogil, who served as Padmasambhava's primary disciple. I'll be covering Yesha Tsogil's life in a separate future video, so please like and subscribe to my channel if that sounds interesting. A similar attempt to burn Padmasambhava and Mandarava occurred upon his return to Udayana, where despite enduring 21 days of burning, neither he nor his consort were harmed. He remained in the kingdom of Udayana for 13 years, much of which was spent in the charnel ground of Jalandhara. In Bodh Gaya, 4 heretic teachers and their followers issued a challenge to the Buddhist Panditas for a test involving both debate and magic. The terms were that the losers would adopt the teachings of the victors. While the Buddhists were confident in their ability to win any debate, they were concerned about losing the magical contest. A dakini appeared before the Panditas, advising them that the only way to defeat the heretics was to invite Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava arrived the following morning and aided the Panditas in defeating the heretics in debate. Subsequently, the heretics attempted to showcase their magical abilities by flying into the air. Padmasambhava responded with a display of power that sent the teachers fleeing to their respective castles. True to their agreement, the followers of these heretics embraced Buddhism. However, their teachers, feeling threatened, resorted to uttering evil mantras. Padmasambhava summoned a shower of meteors onto the teachers' castles, ultimately destroying them. In gratitude for this intervention, the Panditas bestowed upon him the title, Roaring Lion, or Senj Dragdrag. At this juncture, the narrative of Padmasambhava's invitation to Tibet unfolds. The invitation was extended by King Trisong Dutsen, 755 to 797 CE, believed to be an incarnation of the Bodhisattva Manjushri. King Trisong Dutsen harbored the desire to construct the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet, known as Sami Monastery, with the aim of propagating the teachings of Buddha. In pursuit of this visionary goal, he dispatched a request to a renowned Indian teacher named Master Bodhisattva, who agreed to journey to Tibet and assist the king in realizing his aspiration. Before King Trisong, Tibetan King Songtsen Gampo, ca. 605/617-649 CE, was already said to have brought the Buddhist teachings into Tibet. When King Songtsen began expanding his territory, the Nepalese and Chinese response was to send princesses to marry the king. The Nepalese princess Prakuti Devi and the Chinese princess Wenqing both brought with them the Buddhist religion and ensured that King Songtsen did what he could to establish the religion in Tibet. However, as the religion came from outsiders, it was not well accepted by Tibetans. Returning to the construction of Sami Monastery by King Trisong, this endeavor encountered unforeseen challenges from the disruptive influence of local spirits and deities. Whatever progress was achieved during the day would be undone by the malevolent actions of the evil spirits under the cover of night. These recurring obstacles prompted Master Bodhisattva to advise the king to seek assistance from Padmasambhava in subduing these troublesome spirits and deities. A group of emissaries was promptly sent to invite Padmasambhava, and he agreed to make the journey to Hepari, where King Trisong Dutsen resided. Along the way, Padmasambhava and the emissaries encountered a great many hostile deities and spirits that attempted to obstruct their progress. Padmasambhava was able to subdue and tame them all through his power, and many of these demons became protectors of Buddhism. Upon their arrival in Hepari, they were greeted by the king. As the ruler of the land, King Trisong felt that Padmasambhava should bow and pay homage to him. Sensing the king's pride, Padmasambhava recounted his powers and attainments, and scolded King Trisong for his pride and arrogance. He concluded by scorching the king's clothing with a ray of light from his hand, which had the desired effect. King Trisong Dutsen bowed and paid homage to Padmasambhava. After Padmasambhava tamed and brought under his command a great many male and female gods, demons, and spirits, it was finally possible to build Sami Monastery, which was completed in only 5 years. Later, a warrior spirit King Pakar was appointed as the monastery guardian. With the temple finished, Padmasambhava and Master Bodhisattva intended to return to India, but King Trisong pleaded for them to stay in Tibet to deepen the Buddhist teachings. Both of them agreed, and with the assistance of various translators, they established a Dharma assembly for a period of 13 years, during which they translated a vast number of Indian Buddhist texts into Tibetan. During this period, King Trisong Dutsen requested longevity empowerments from Padmasambhava. Although Padmasambhava agreed, the king's ministers obstructed the process, convincing him that the empowerment would harm him. As a result, Padmasambhava announced that the king's lifespan would be reduced from a potential 108 years to 56 years. However, ceremonies were conducted to extend the king's lifespan by 13 years. Eventually, King Trisong died at the age of 69 as predicted. Once the Dharma assembly concluded its work, most masters returned home, except for Padmasambhava and Master Bodhisattva. Master Bodhisattva remained at the Bodhi temple at Sami, while Padmasambhava journeyed to the Trega cave of Chimphu, which is present-day Tiger's Nest Monastery in Bhutan. It is said that he flew there from Tibet on the back of Yeshe Tsogil, whom he transformed into a flying tigress for the purpose of the journey. Even today, the life of Padmasambhava is vividly portrayed in the Cham dances, which are masked and costume dances associated with the annual Chechu festival in Bhutan. After residing in Tibet for 51 years, Padmasambhava announced that it was time for him to relinquish his role as the king's guru. He embarked on a journey to numerous caves and sacred sites in and around Tibet, concealing countless Terma treasures, imparting teachings, and making aspirations for those who would discover these teachings in later times and incarnations. Upon returning briefly to Sami, Padmasambhava redirected his focus towards the demons residing in Lankapuri, the land of Rakshasas, present-day Sri Lanka. Observing their plans to invade and devastate India, Nepal, Tibet, and the surrounding regions, he resolved to travel there to subdue them. Before his departure, he delivered his final teachings to the Tibetans, expressing his weariness with Tibet and its inhabitants. He offered extensive guidance on daily conduct, cautioned against wrongdoing, and emphasized the importance of dedicating oneself to the practice of the Dharma. Concluding his teachings, he emphasized the deity Avalokiteshvara as the guardian of Tibet and advocated for the recitation of his six-syllable mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, as a means to attain liberation from samsara and the cycle of rebirth. Mounting a ray of sunlight, Padmasambhava swiftly departed for Sri Lanka with the intention of subduing the demons, marking the conclusion of known history about him.